Prior CS short retested. NQ short retested. NQ short retested.
I think I got this figured out. You guys hear me in YouTube land? Please let me know. Anybody out there? If anyone in my room is on YouTube, please let me know if you can hear me. Thank you, Noble House. Appreciate it. I'll be back in 1 minute after the disclaimer stuff.
This disclosure statement deals with the risk of loss in trading stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, derivatives, options, forwards, and cryptocurrencies. This risk is essential when investors should only consider financial stability prior to trading. Past performance is not indicative of future performance. The supplement, strategies, chapter, websites, and associated websites, digital means for educational purposes only, should not be considered express or implied promise or guarantee to proper advice made limited in any manner whatsoever. Users of the information accept full responsibility for the outcomes of their employment in most self-assessment, LLC, and any associated companies, agents, management, owners, and customers farmers without transportation. Please make responsibility. Commodity futures trading commissions, CFTC, Rule 4.41, hypotheticals and related trading performance results and limitations, some contracts are apparent. No representation is being made that any outcome is likely to achieve optimal losses similar to the show. In fact, there are crucial differences between hypothetical and related performance results and the actual results successfully achieved by any particular trading program. One limitation to hypothetical performance results is that they are generally greater than in hindsight. In addition, hypothetical trading does not involve financial risk, and no hypothetical trading report can completely account for the impact of financial risk in actual trading. For example, the ability to withstand losses or after a particular trading program is likely to be losses material points can also arise in the after-tax trading results. Because these trades are not actually executed, the hypothetical results may not overcompensate for the impact, if any, of certain market factors such as volatility. There are numerous other factors related to markets which allow implementation of a specific trading program which do not fully account for influence related trading or preparation of hypothetical performance results at all, of which inherently after-tax trading results.
Hold on, guys, 1 second. I'm just trying to get this set up here. I'm having some issues with my contacts too, so I might have to flip those out. All right, good morning. All right, so market's a little crazy this week with all the Iran headlines. All right, we got some stuff coming in here on NES. I'm trying to find where this on there. All right, so I'm just trying to find where this alert is going off. I'm not going to listen to that the whole webinar. Hold on here. May have to. All right, so market opened up. There was some buy ice here, a couple batches of buy ice in ES. I took an A+ reversion. We'll be going over the different strategies that I'm taking currently. I got to figure out where this is coming from. This is the one thing with Bookmap. I can't set up alerts on these products, and you can't find where the hell it's going off. Like it doesn't give you a text alert. I'm not going to listen to that the whole time. All right, I'll go back to that in a second. Currently, I am short Nasdaq, a pick strategy, profiles encouraged, market profile composite. So I'll be covering these strategies today. So these are my, almost 20 strategies that I watch for that I've developed over my trading career as far as important areas. So I have important areas that I use, and then I wait for confirmation of a stop iceberg event in those areas and the rules around the tendencies around these events to place trades, right? So the stop iceberg events is this enhanced data, CME data that came out with like 2017, 2018 that shows us where the big money is placing their orders, where they're hiding it in the order book, meaning they don't have to show full size, they just show 10% of that order. To avoid these algo games that when they put in big size, the algo will run the market away from them. So I am currently short a pick trade. We'll go over that here in a second. And then I'm going to put on a bar click trade. You can see this resting liquidity here. These are like magnets, right? So this is like I talk about all the time. I used to be a big scalper in the E-mini S&P where I was in and out all day. So this is the game I would play all the time. I'd load up the order book, and then I would test the waters and start selling and see if anyone would see if they would respond. If there's no response, I would push it. I'd load up the order book on this side, just kind of scare it into my orders, and the market would run into my orders, and I'd be out. And I do that all day, every day, play that game. So they're still playing that game, and it behooves you to understand one, where obviously the icebergs are, and the stop runs, because stop runs are telling you something too. That's usually a retail trader puking. And to know where this heavy resting liquidity is, because again, it's the big money, and this will very, very, very likely tag, soon, let alone by the end of the day. So it doesn't always mean the market's coming right here. And this is a great example of why firms use icebergs, right? The market came down here. These algos sensed this big size and they ran it away, trying to get these players to chase, right? So it's just a game, right? Meaning they front run this, or they say, oh, hey, look, there's 600 down here. I'm going to front run it. And they think this entity is going to chase it. And then the algos put in all their offers higher. This entity chases it. Hypothetically, it didn't happen here, obviously. And then the algos get their fills much higher. And then it comes back, to that area. So that it's just a big game these algos play. So this is why firms use icebergs. Anyway, this entity has been in here for a while. This is what we call heavy resting liquidity. It's been in here for a while. The longer it's been in here, the more likely it is going to get filled. And they're not willing to chase, right? They're just sitting here waiting to get filled. So again, the big money will eventually push the market into these orders. And then, what happens here will give you some information too, whether if it pushes right through, it's telling you something. If this fills and then holds, then probably heading right back up like it always is. Oh, crap. Hold on, guys. Something just happened with my computer here. All my screens are going black. That's not good. I think it's this crappy Thinkorswim software jams up my computer. All right. Hopefully I'm back on. Looks like it's frozen. This is my life story, technologically. And let me know if I can't, my whole computer's frozen here. Hold on a second. Bookmap's frozen. Again, like trading's not hard enough, and I got to go through this crap. All right, I think I'm back on. Let me know if you can hear me. Computer's completely freezing on me. Looks like we're back on. Someone let me know if you can actually see my stream. I got a lot of things running on this computer too, and I think I'm due for an upgrade, so hopefully you guys can hear me. Or can you still hear me on YouTube? Please let me know, because I just literally everything just went black on my computer. So please let me know if you can hear me in there. Anyway, I'm just going to continue like you guys can hear me. Oh, good. Okay, thank you, Mason. So anyway, I'm already short one strategy here I'll go over, and then there's another strategy which we call bar click. It's just literally taking advantage of wherever these are. So I started by talking about how I look for these iceberg events in important areas. Well, the edge is inherent in the iceberg event in itself, right? So if this does the ATR retest confirm, ATR is currently 44, which is pretty elevated. I will take a bar click. So the bar click is literally putting on the trade, blind ATR retest confirm. And then my main target is there. This isn't much of a risk reward trade. So I'll put this on and then we'll see how it handles this. If it just blows through, I can hold it. If not, then I'll get out of the trade. But I will put that on if this comes back, and I'm already short the pick trade. I'll go over that here in a second. So my short entry here is at 60.25. And this is the zone drawing tool. So the zone drawing tool will draw the events on. It's drawing the information from the sub chart on the chart, and then it gives you your position sizing, where you get in. So the yellow line is just outside of an ATR. That's where I enter my shorts for position trading, and then my stops on the other side of the event. And I do that for a reason, to help me avoid the whipsaw, the algo whipsaw that happens 90% of the trading day, right? So I'll get in here and I'll stop here, and this position sizing is already baking that into the trade, right? So I don't have to sit here, and this is what the biggest reasons why traders fail is they're over trading their account as far as position sizing, trading too big for their account, and they have a bad day and then they blow out. So this is telling me if I want to risk, I'm risking $400 on these trades. If I want to risk 400, I'm in here and I stop out here and I can put on 2. So if that comes back, that's where I'm entering my bar click. And this moves dynamically with the ATR too, so you got to continue to move your entry point. 24, 658, 75. All right, that is working. And then the other trade, short I have on, actually I got to get my stop in here because I already put this on. Stops up here. 24, 781. So again, this is where I'm supposed to stop. I could use some judgment with, I just put something there. If there's these GEX levels here, so these are these longer term options levels where dealers are will be reacting, right? So if it pops up here, I'm just gonna move my stop just above this GEX 3. So I'm not stopping out right here. I'll just move it above here. So because so many times the markets will come and bounce off these things because the dealers are hedging with futures, right? We'll go over that too. So we'll put it at 803 as my stop for my pick. Is that right? 803. Okay, that's working as well. All right, so the trade I put on here a little bit ago that I currently have on, we'll go over all these. And by the way, there's a bunch of GEX levels down here too that the market will very likely hit today. They're going to do their little juke move first, and it's probably heading lower. Anyway, this sell ice event was right on the bottom of this Whopper market profile composite. So as it moved out of there, I took the trade. So I have that on, and then I'll take the bar click short if it comes back. Let's look at ES here. So I have 2 types of trades I'm taking. I'm taking position trades and I'm taking reversion trades. So reversion trades are the propensity for these markets to come back to the zones, which has already happened about 10 times today, and it happens all day, every day across all these futures markets. Where you can see I took this one where the market tagged this one, tagged the 1 ATR, and then back to the zone and I'm out, right? So I'll do the same thing here either way. I got an A+ reversion brewing here. So these reversions work. So that's what's going on this chart, right? So you got the iceberg events, which I'm going to combine. So down here, you see all the sell ice came in, right? Let me make sure this is accurate. So sometimes you got to adjust these, and that's another benefit of this drawing tool. You can adjust automatically. So you see this kept coming in here. So I'm going to move this up a little higher here. So every time this thing spikes, that bubble is corresponding with it. So you got to move it up. Oops. Just in the middle of the bubble. This thing's very touchy today. All right, that looks correct. And this was the initial one that popped in here. So I'm going to just adjust this too. Come on. All right. So that's that batch of sell ice. So you had 677, or that was over threshold. That would have been 742, another 902, another 5. So you had over 2,200 sell ice, 2,100, 2,200 sell ice, right? So this is pretty important to know as a trader. You want to know that somebody is selling here a lot of contracts, 2,000 and counting, right? Does it mean the market's just going to stop here and reverse the other way? No, it's way more likely, especially if they just keep putting in sell ice, putting in sell ice, putting in, so icebergs are absorbing the market orders. So I got this question the other day. This guy was having a tough time grasping what was going on here, right? So the bubbles are market orders. Those are people being aggressive in the market. The sell ice is absorbing those orders, right? Because they're hidden in the order book. So this triggered, these buy orders triggered this sell ice, and then more came in, and there's a little bit coming in now, but it's not threshold, but it is inside here. But the point is, the icebergs are passively selling. They're not aggressively selling. Icebergs are not aggressive. They are passive, meaning they're just sitting there waiting for the aggressive market orders. So someone jumped in here thinking they're going to push this thing higher, and they've got I like to say, a mouthful of sell ice, right? So does this mean it's just going to reverse? No, but again, it's way more likely it's going to reverse because the big money is the big money for a reason. They can continue to put in orders here. So, but we have, if this doesn't hold, we have trades. We have 6 distinct stop iceberg setups. Here, let me put this in here. This is everything I use in my trading. This flip book here. I'll put this in YouTube. I saw your Bookmap told me they can hear me. Thank you. I'll put this in Discord as well. Hold on here. So nothing's happening currently, guys. That's why I'm gonna do all this other stuff here quickly. All right. So anyway, what I'm saying is I have 6 distinct stop iceberg setups. Like I said at the beginning of the webinar, these are the core of my trading, right? These and iceberg events. I mean, stop run events. So I have 6 distinct setups. So that's what I cover here, right? So that's everything I use in my trading. So I just posted for you guys. So that's this course that I go over my 6 distinct setups and how the markets, the tendencies around these events, the patterns around these events, right? I got to put this in. Not real excited about putting a reversion trade on here, but meaning because these markets look very, very bearish. We'll go over that here in a second as far as the bigger picture thesis. But this is a good risk reward. One is an A+, meaning your reversion entry is back in a prior event because there's trap traders here, right? And when it comes back, so whoever was selling here is like, when the market moved away, they were kind of freaking out, right? And then when it comes back, they went out. Just again, anytime you're questioning what's going on, just say how would you react, right? So say you were in here earlier selling this like crazy, right? Where this buy ice came in and absorbed it, and then it moved away like that. You'd be like, oh no, let me out, right? It did come back here, and then it bounced back out. So that's the whole idea behind these prior events. It goes for relative volume too. I'm going to show you that here in a second. So the whole point, these reversions work on their own, in their own right, but they work even better when you're into a prior event, and they work even better when you're into a prior event with GEX levels, right? So if I fill on this, for me to lose, it's got to get through the event, it's got to get through 2 SpotGamma GEX levels, it's got to get through 2 Method Q GEX levels for me to stop out of the trade, right? So that's called Confluence. Now, it doesn't mean it can't just rip through there, but and if it does, it's telling you something on top of it. But this is a high probability reversion trade. I need to put on one more here. So this is my sizing for the reversion. So again, for my position trades, My sizing is up here where I'm looking for the bigger moves, where I'm getting in here and getting out on the other yellow line. For my reversion trades, where I'm popping in at these dotted lines, right? This is the 1 ATR, this is the 2 ATR, the 3 ATRs down here. Here's the stop for the 1 ATR, the stop for the 2 ATRs down here. So that's all these lines on the chart. So it's not a bunch of technical stuff. It's just basic reversion entries. Put this in here. Put this on this account to, what's the price here? Oh, wait, 50.
Order filled.
All right, so it didn't fill my other one, of course. All right, so I'm filled on this reversion trade. And my stop is going to be down here. And I could potentially take position trading shorts here off of this too. So again, I'm using different accounts, right? So I have accounts that I'm taking reversion trade and accounts I'm taking position trades. So first and foremost, I should have been looking where we're at for this iceberg for the bigger picture. So this was an IZZY. So these are my inflection zones that I draw for important areas of trading. So this came back in here with sell ice. So I need to go short basically right now. The IZZY trade. Oops, wrong market. My usual making a mistake putting wrong market on. All right, so I'm short the IZZY. That's one area. Again, I'm looking for my important areas for stop iceberg events, right? So that IZZY was one. Let's see if we got another one. Remember, I'm still short Nasdaq, I believe. Let me make sure I didn't accidentally take that off. I still have that on. And I'm short Barclay Nasdaq too. We just went over that trade. Yes, there's nothing else here for me to go short, right? So that you did bounce off VWAP. I don't take trades off VWAP. Some traders do, and this is the whole point, right? So it's like, it's not for me to tell you what areas that you deem are important, right? I have my important areas. What I do is I confirm those areas with these iceberg events. That's all I'm doing, right? So I have the reversion long on, where I will pop out of the back of the zone, or when it comes back to the zone, hopefully. And then I have a short on. I only put on half size right now because I'm gonna play the price change game here too that I'll show you, right? So these algos love to, every time this thing price changes too fast, too far, too quickly, it reverses, right? So you can see it happen there, it happened right here. So if this pops back, I'll put on more size. I could put on 3 for the position trading. I put on 2. If it pops back, I'll put on a couple more. This is a little more advanced, and then I will play the price change game as I get out of my positions as well. Let me make sure I got this stop in this account. 95.50 is the stop for this reversion. All right, that's working. All right, so short IZZY. So this is a good thing you can do too, right? Diversification type trading, where say you have your position trading, you're short, and you could say I'm only taking reversion trades when it's opposing my main position. Meaning, so if this thing does rip back, at least you make some money on the reversion, right? Even if you're not short, and then you could actually make money on both because you can make the reversion trade, you're out at the zone, and then it can turn around, which happens all the time, and then you're still in the short. So you can even, there's so many variations of the reversion how you use it. You could just say I only put on reversions when it's counter my position trades, right? All right, so this is just sitting here. I don't know why I have this other Nasdaq on. So I'm short pick. Short. This is almost coming back here for the reversion. So if it gets close to these, I should have already been out of a couple here. So that came pretty damn close there, especially with these news headlines that are hitting nonstop. So I would have been, that sucks because I would have been out of a couple there. So that came real close to my fill and I didn't get it. The other thing too is there's a lot of people using the zone drawing tool as well, so you got to be aware that there's a lot of orders sitting here at these exits, or at the exit price here. Hold on, I'm gonna get out of a couple. This can pop up here, so you may want to front run a little bit. I mean, you can see liquidity right there. So, and I'm convinced that there's firms, trading firms, using this and countering the trades we're taking here, because of the constant exact price tick outs that I've been having occurring. So this sucks. I would have got out of a couple of these up here. So I'm still got it on. I'm still short, but I want this reversion, and then I'll be out of that, and then I watch the thing go to zero, which would be awesome. All right, so pretty choppy right now. Just want to make sure I don't have. I don't know why this trade's on. Let me get out of this Izzy here. I didn't mean to have an Izzy on in Nasdaq. So I must have filled on that bark lick and short bark lick now too. I must have filled this. What I'm talking about. So I filled to the text. Remember, I told you guys I was short the pick trade. I took that aggressively, meaning first move out of the volume event. And then I took the bark lick. My entry was literally right there, and it filled to the tick, and then did that. So I got two shorts on in Nasdaq pick and bark lick, and you see all this liquidity down here. And then I'm short ES Izzy off of this inflection zone, and I got the reversion trade on. And I had a chance to get out of some, like I said, and I didn't. So pop back to this. So these zones I draw every day for myself in my trade room. They're just the four important areas of trading. So it's where tops and bottoms of balance areas, right? So these were prior zones. Hold on, this is going to make me very upset that I didn't get out of. I didn't even have a chance to get over here to pop out of some of these. I would have got out of, like I said. In this market environment, I don't need to try to squeeze out 2 more points for my exit, because any news story comes out, I'm screwed. So no, this thing's getting hit again. I am short 3 different strategies over both these products, but I really wanted to pop out of that and then watch the thing die. So regardless, my stops in. If it stops me out, stops me out. This is what, and then you're getting tick extremes too. This is what trading is, right? You're playing probabilities. You just continue to see the trade.
And Q short retested.
Or you get your setups and you put the trade on. You don't know what's going to happen next. I'm just mad that I couldn't get over here quick enough to get out of a couple of these, but it is what it is. All right, looks like we got some buy ice coming in here too. All right, so I need to be out of this reversion right now. All right, so the reason I'm out of the reversion, I'm still short now, and now I'm going to be able to trail my stop too. We'll go over that, but you see this buy ice coming in, because I'm waiting for the retest of the zone, which I almost got, like I've said 5 times. But if a new event comes in, I'm out. I'm not hoping it comes back to this event now with a new event. So now I just start the process over again as far as reversion trades. I am short. Here's a new event, and this is how I trail my stops, right? So I don't say, okay, I got a nice profit. I want to make sure if it pops back, the worst I want to do is break even. That's the biggest fallacy of retail traders, right? This is what these algos are built to do. They know traders are trailing their stops. They pop it back, they stop you out, and then it goes, right? So the way I get out as the market moves into important areas, like we're heading right here, actually. Hold on there. Hold on there. All right, here we are at this liquidity too. So I'm going to hop out of a couple of these. Just can't get through this liquidity. So this looks like something news is hidden, potentially. All right, we're going in tick extremes too. So you see, this is what I'm talking about. These markets will find a way to this liquidity, and that's exactly what happened for a target. So let's see if it can blow through here. If not, I'm getting out of some of these Nasdaq shorts. I actually made a mistake and didn't put on the IZZY short, and yes, of course, I put it on Nasdaq, and that's why I was looking. I'm like, wait, I shouldn't have an IZZY on a Nasdaq, and it was supposed to be MES. So instead, this is what happens to me nonstop when I'm on these webinars, right? Because I'm trying to do so many things and show everything. So I never got my IZZY short on in here, but I put it on accident and on Nasdaq. By the way, if it can't pull through here, I'm going to pop out of one of these. Also doesn't help my, I still got my pick on too. So let me get out of a couple here. All right, so you got multiple levels here too, right? I'm still short. I was short Russell as well. Why am I long position here? Okay. So I'm hopping out of some of these Nasdaq shorts. I was short pick and bark and lick, right? Well, here's your lick, right? And it's kind of struggling to get through. This is one of my areas that I will get out. You've got two major GEX levels here too, where the dealers are going to be hedging. Does it mean it's just going to hold here and bounce back? No, but it's more likely because dealers are hedging. If it blows right through here, it's telling you something too. But these are areas that I will piece out of my trade, and I can actually put it back on too if we get a price change back up, which I'll do. We'll go over the price change game, but this is number 5 here. I pay myself as the market makes money available to me. So this is struggle to get through heavy resting liquidity and Method Q level, and it's close to a SpotGamma level. There's a SpotGamma level here too. So again, if it continues down, I still have something on. If it So this was a double kick in the sack for ES. I missed my reversion exit, and then I didn't get this. I thought I put it on an ES, and I put it on Nasdaq, and then I said I made a mistake in Nasdaq, so I got out of it, and then of course the market free falls. So, you know, these webinars are not for you to be mirroring my trades. It's to learn how to do this for yourself, but hopefully somebody put that on because you got 10 points and counting right now. And what I should be doing if I did have this ES short on, not trailing my stop to the most recent event. So this came in, stop moved to here. This came in. Actually, this is for this, sorry. So your stop should be moved to there. So my original stop was way up here. Again, if I would have put this on correctly. Right? Entries here, stops here, the whole lines. It's just outside of an ATR, just outside of an ATR. So I do this because if I'm going to be wrong on the trade, I force the market to get back, come back in ATR, get through the volume event, push another ATR out. That helps me avoid the algos the best I can. When I get a new event, then I trail. So instead of stopping out here, now I can stop out there. That's all if I had the trade on and I missed it. But I am short Nasdaq, so let's see. I am short Russell from this morning bark lick. And now I can trail my stop to that. This thing's been a choppy ridiculousness, but there's your ATR, there's your retest, that's where I got in, and then I had to endure this for a half hour, and now it's finally going. Stop is now trailed to that. And again, you can use some judgment the better you get at these, right? The more you're used to trading it. If you don't want to stop out in the GEX levels, you can say I'll move it here, and if you really want to, you can say, you know what, I'm going to just move it above this volume event.
Friday S short validation. RTY iceberg sell RT 150 for contracts.
So I may take some reversions here off of this these GEX levels here too, NES. So we have, again, the markets tag these ATRs and come back to the zone as it is, the 1, the 2, and the 3. They're even better when you have a prior event, and I like them when they bounce off GEX levels too. This one's not quite, we call it back in black. So this one would not be it, but say there's a GEX level down here, like say it bounces off this GEX level and starts coming back, I can put on the corresponding ATRs, call that the backdoor reversion. So we'll keep an eye on that. See where else we're at as far as events. So if I had this trade on, if I did put this IZZY on, I would probably be out right of all of them right here if it can't push through here right now. These are the Ludwig levels, the third most powerful thing I've ever seen in my trading. Used to be second, but now the options activity is taken over as second. Stop icebergs are number 1. right? So you can see here, I didn't even see this. I would have definitely taken this FLOBI. So this is another pattern. This, you got to pay attention. This is SpotGamma real-time options flow, right? So the blue is the options activity that's coming in the market. So if it's going up, options dealers are getting loaded up and they have to turn around and buy futures. If it's going down, options dealers are getting loaded up on the longs because they're on the other side of the trade. They got to turn around and sell futures. When you get the flow alert, that means a really big options trade just went off. And 3 out of 4 times, just my guess, it's right around there, 75% of the time, the market will turn around and reverse, right? So this one worked perfectly, and I have a trade for that called the FLOBI, yes, named after the haircut machine, where I'll just jump, if I get a bearish event, I'll just jump in on that trade. So let's see what I missed here. That was 10:12 Eastern, which was 8:12 my time, or 7:12 my time. So you see how this is bouncing around off the logbook level too. And the Nasdaq, this is why I got out of some down here. You have 2 GEX levels, and there's your liquidity that just got their fills. Real surprising, isn't it? This just, guys, is the same pattern every single day, right? Options flow, and then watching these guys where they put their big orders, they're the big money, they'll find a way to get their fills down here. Doesn't mean it's going to reverse, but it's more than likely, if it can't push through here, it's going to rip. Once these guys get their fills, now it's free to go higher, right? Speaking of which, let me see where we're at, bigger picture. Oh, and this is what we talked about, these GEX levels lower here. These are real-time GEX levels. This is another thing for SpotGamma, credible. Let's see if these are still in here. They are. These contacts are really giving me a hard time today. So you can see here. So the GEX levels on the Method Q GEX levels and the SpotGamma levels on my, on my chart heat map. They're important, but they're longer term GEX levels and from the day before. Then you have real time GEX levels that populate as the market trades, like right now, right? So you can see these are all filling in down here. Just like we show the heavy rest and liquidity are magnets, these things are magnets too, especially if they grow to 99% or higher. Let's see what these are. That's up to 98%. That's up to 97%. Then you got this guy down here too. So very likely, if these don't come off, the market's going to head down here. So you can use these as targets, and then we will use these as sexy GEXy trades too. So say we took one of these in last week's webinar. I think it was last week. Market came down to the GEX levels that are also support. You get buy ice, you can jump in the trade. So it looks like we're going straight there. So I think there's news out too, guys. So it's been very treacherous the last couple of weeks with the war going on. Obviously, you're susceptible to a headline at any time. This is TickStrike, by the way. So I've used this for about 15 years. And then now we got MarketPulse, which is like TickStrike on steroids from Bookmap. But I still use this just to know what's going on. You can use this stuff to that's in my flipbook too. You get discounts to everything in my flipbook. There's a discount too that I put in there. But this this can help you judge. You come to an important area and this thing's silent, you can be like, okay, I'm getting out of some. Or if it's just going crazy, you're like, I'm going to try to hold it through it, right? It helps you judge better, especially if you're watching these highest weighted stocks.
German Chancellor Merz says stepping up security measures for Israeli, Jewish and US institutions in Germany.
All right. Merz from Germany is saying something. I think the market's responding to that. Again, guys, it doesn't really matter what the news story is. You just got to sit here and take it, right? Like, unless you have the data feed and the algo that can read the headlines and just throw the orders in, you don't try to trade the news. It's a losing proposition. The news is already baked. By the time we hear it, it's basically already baked in the market, right? So that's what sucks, especially in this type of environment. It happens at any time. Anyone's been trading last year knows with the tariff headlines, and every time Trump talks and tweets, the market's ripped, right? You have no control over that. What you have control over is your trading strategy, your edge, and the rules behind it. You put the trades on and hope you don't get headlined, hope you don't get tariffed, like we used to say, or hero. That's the other thing too. So right now there's something bigger going on in the market, but 90% of the time in the markets, it's algos playing their games, like the price change games that I was showing you. We'll continue to go over that. Or the hero. Whatever way this thing goes, the markets go. It's not the other way around. The markets are not driving this. This is driving the markets because the 0 day to expiration game has exploded, right? So that's all they do. They sit there and they wait, and then they load up the dealers. The dealers have to hedge in the futures, and then that causes the movement in the futures. It's all day, every day, and you need to be aware of what this thing's doing, especially if you're getting flow alerts, like I said, or if it's moving a billion or more notionally, as Brent for SpotGamma says. So this has not been that big of a move to lead to this type of move in ES most days. Today, there's something bigger going on. When you're hearing tick extremes, that usually means there's program selling. So the bigger money, the funds and stuff are in here today unloading. So the hero is not as prevalent yet, but trust me, give it a little time. And usually it's right around 10 o'clock Central. That's when the game started. And usually whatever way the hero is going, right around 10, 10, 15, it goes the other way. Almost every, especially if we're moving lower, right? So you can see this thing's been just hanging at this is Nasdaq, it's been hanging at the tick extreme. The NYSE has not hit it. So I judge the ES and the YM off NYSE. This hasn't got to the tick extreme today yet, but Nasdaq's just been sitting down here the whole day. So that means program selling in Nasdaq so far. All right, so if you are short ES, you should be trailing your stop. You should have trailed your stop to that, then that, now that. I'm sorry, that's this recent one. Then we can see what do we want to trade from here, this new event. And I'm still short. Oh, guys, I gotta switch these contacts out. I can't see. I heard being able to see in trading is pretty important, so give me a second. Sorry, I gotta watch this, but these contacts are driving me crazy. Of course, that one's broken. So just make sure nothing happens on the markets while I'm doing this. All right, there's one. This is a first. Sorry, I gotta watch you guys, but I gotta be able to see what the hell I'm doing here. My glasses are in the other room. It's fun getting old, by the way. All right, good to go. Can actually see. That's cool. All right, so new event. Let's see where we're at. One, I could take reversions, right? Depending on what happens here. And there's no real A plus reversion. That one ATR entry is up here. It's through these prior events. And the one ATR is down here. So there's really nothing as far as, unless I'm taking it aggressively, and I don't take it, meaning as the market moves into them, I wait for it to bounce. Either I'll take them aggressively if they're into a prior event, but this guy's not into a prior event. What I could do here is I'd take it back in black. It's kind of through it, but say it comes up here, right at these GEX levels. I take that, especially in this environment, right? Because these markets, look, we haven't really even gone over the structure stuff yet. But first, let's just see where we're at as far as potential trades I can take off this sell icebergs that just came in. There's no Izzy trade here, no inflection zone to down here. This was the Izzy trade that I thought I had on, right? We went over that. I just didn't have it on. I put it on Nasdaq on accident, like I said. So there's nothing Izzy wise, short or long. Let's see what else we got. This is sell ice at the Ludwig level. So this is a variation of a I lug you. So I lug you is iceberg at the lug. So we use lug as short for Ludwig level. So I don't say Ludwig level 85 times in the webinar. Take any fade trade with an iceberg event to a major lug. So this is what she calls big blue. Very, very powerful areas. If the iceberg corresponds with the lug, sell ice at red, buy ice at blue. Trade to be taken aggressively, meaning first move out of the zone. Otherwise, trade demands an ATR retest confirmed. So I'll still take an I lug U here because this could be a broken ice setup, which it's about to be. So this is how I judge these events, if it can push the ATR out of the zone. So the current ATR. Well, I need to get out of this Russell now. So this is exactly how I trail my stops, right? I forgot to put that in, but that pops a little higher. I'm out of this. Actually, let's combine these, and we got potential trades in here too. So you see all the sell ice that came in here. I'm going to bet the euro's starting to rip higher right now. But just remember those GEX levels below because they can play their little games here, but it's probably going to turn around and go hit those at some point today. All right, that was all this activity here. There's another guy here. I don't really need that one. So actually my stop's way up here because I combine those. Right, so my stop's up here. So I'm still short, still short Russell, and I could take reversion trades off of these levels. So say this comes up here, bounces off, puts support and SpotGamma level. I'm going to take the back in black 1 ATR. So I'm just going to put an alert here to let me know that it's up there. It bounces off there. Then I'll forget it's here and can't find it, but we'll take that trade if that pops up there for the reversions. Yes, so this is the exact trade that I was just talking about here. So this is a news story, right? That's what I'm talking about, guys. Like, this is the normal. Every day, guys, this is what's been going on, right? I caught one yesterday in my favor, so I can't bitch all the time about it happening every time, but most of the time, it's just brutal. All right, so I did get out of some of my shorts down here for a reason. I didn't know that headline was coming out, but these guys got their fill, right? Got GEX levels. That's why I got out. You have no idea they're going to say something until you get it right down your throat, right? At least I didn't put on that reversion trade. I will put on the GEX too, though. If this pops up here, I'm going to put on the back in black. Right? If it bounces off here, yes, it's very risky. They could say something more, but this thing just ripped 30 points, right? Again, it's been very, very, very difficult trading where you're in great trades. Like the market looked like it was going to zero there. Oh no, let's come save today. And then the thing rips off the page. Let's see what hero is doing. I'm sure that ripped too. So this is, you don't know this is coming. You just got to put your trades in and hope that you don't get heroed or headline. This thing just popped 1.3 billion, right? So sucks. If you were short, yes, should have been stopped out right there, right? So you would have basically scratched the trade. Could have got, I would have been out of some down here at these GEX levels, like I said, and then I would have trailed my stop. Again, you can't control it. I really wish that would have bounced up here because I would have taken this reversion because now it's coming right back to the damn zone. So Nasdaq didn't respond that as much as the ES did. And you had some bias up here too. All right, I'll put another short on here if this was an Izzy zone and Nasdaq off that buy ice. No, it's just outside of it. It's been sitting in this Izzy zone. So, Izzy's are meant to be inflection zones. That's what Izzy is short for. Fade trade. So as the market moves into these, I fade them. This one was been sitting in here. It just popped its head out. That's not an Izzy. But let's see if we had something else, because I will gladly keep shorting this. Again, I have no control over headlines, but hopefully they won't keep firing off headlines. That's another thing you need to notice too, or recognize. Certain days the markets will be responding. Like obviously some days it goes like this through VWAP. Today things responding to VWAP perfectly. Bounced off of it, bounced off of it, bounced off of it. So you can use this to take your back and black reversions too. I'm just seeing that now, but let's see if we got any other areas to short. All right, lots of activity in ES today. So let's see, was that so that was another pick. Now we're hitting tick extremes. So I missed this pick trade. I already have the pick trade on. This sucks because there's your reversion too. But if I was in this reversion playing back to this zone, the minute that popped in, I would have been out of it. So let's see, we may have an A-pluser here too. We do. So we got event. Here's your 1 ATR. I'll take. We took this long one earlier and I missed getting out of it. I'm going to take it again. I don't know what is going to happen next, right? This feels like these markets are going to get crushed. For me to lose on this trade, I'm entering in this prior event where traders are caught, right? With that one out when it comes back. So like this, for instance, just say you were this sell ice and you're like, yeah, we're going to zero. And then no, there's the White House headline. You're like, oh crap, holding your breath. when it comes back, please let me out. And then it does that. That's what causes that. And again, everything I'm telling you is from my experience as a scalper. When I would put on 1,000, I'd short 1,000 and it would go like this. I'd be like, oh my God, please come back. I promise I'll never do this again, please. And when it comes back, I get out of my 1,000 and it causes the next wave up. So that's why these are really good reversion trades, called A+ reversion trades, because you're relying on these guys. If the guy was already snap it back at the reversion or at the ATR, then you got this to support you. And then you also have a GEX level here too. So, and it's got to get through 2 GEX levels to stop me out. So I had no problem taking this. It's still wrong though. Hold on. That's not my sizing. All right, that's the long reversion working. So all I'm short right now, I'm still short Nasdaq, Russell, and 2 strategies in Nasdaq and Russell. Down here again, let me get out of one of these guys. Even though I think it's going to blow through this time, we'll see. And I missed another pick there too. All right, so again, I got out of some earlier here, but it's down here again. I mean, if it blows through, I still have 1 left. But with these news headlines, and we're starting to get this time of the day where the game starts, so I'm fine. If this breaks, great. I still have a short on. If it doesn't, then I got out of another one. I'm going to take this reversion here too. NES. That entry is at. So you can see how this is what this is telling you down here too. So let's see the 1 ATR long. What's that? 93 something. Right here, reversion 1 long entry, 94.25. So we'll put that on.
Norway's maritime authority says until further notice, Norwegian flagged ships will not be permitted to enter the Strait of Hormuz.
All right, that's working. So I got to work it on other accounts too. So I already have it working here, and then I have it on my other account, and then my stop would be down. No, this is the stop for the 2. My bad. Stop for the 1s up here. All right, that's working. So again, I could have put on another pick trade. This is the trade I already have on, but I could have added to it, right? This thing popped back on that news headline, pop back, buy ice, broken ice event, one of the 6 distinct setups. Could have gone short again. And by the way, I will be out of my trades down here at the blue log if it can't go through. That's around 543, 544. So I'm definitely cognizant of that if this thing does rip down there. Now we just either wait to get headline, heroed, or the market actually moves in our favor. This is the most recent event. Again, that didn't look like that was in any 607, so there was no inflection zone here. Bigger picture though, guys, this, I should be trading any short double size, right? So you can see here, markets are in 1 of 2 states. They're either balancing, and that's a whopper balance, or they're trending, balancing or trending, right? And then I judge, aka my thesis, make guesses on what's going to happen based on structure, right? So this is a lot of activity over many weeks. So what do you think happens when it breaks down out of there? What should happen? It should go like that, right? Because the longs went out. This, we'll look at a couple different reasons why I still think these markets are going to get killed, right? So that never even made it back. So the high volume node is just, it's called the HVN. It's just the middle of a balance area where the most trade occurred during this back and forth trade, right? Again, it's just common sense, traders placing bets. This came back kind of in the middle, a little bit lower, and then failed. Then everything's fractal. You had a balance there. Fail, balance, breakout. These are the best trades in trading once it gets to the high volume node. You see how I put up a fight there. Another balance. Broke down. Another balance. Now it's breaking down out of all this stuff, right? So Rule of thumb is when markets break down out of balances, you can expect, especially the bigger ones, the height of the balance is what you'd expect for the expected move, right? So this thing was 77,030 to basically 67. So that's 300 points. So overall, I would expect this thing to move 300 points over. Doesn't mean immediately over the next days or weeks. So you're talking about around 6,500 would be my guess on where this is headed. Again, it may come back 85 times before that happens. And then as long as it doesn't violate the high volume node, then you have to remain bearish, bigger picture. So what does that mean? Again, I'm not a daily or hold trade for weeks trader. I'm a day trader. But when I have a thesis, aka right now everything looks very, very bearish. If I get short setups, I'll trade bigger in that direction, right? I'll still trade long setups because I'm a day trader. But if everything matches my guess, I trade bigger. That's all I'm doing, right? The thesis stuff is just an absolute guess. It's why I use real-time volume to tell me what's going on right now and the tendencies around these events. That's why it is the core of my trading. What happened in Nasdaq was telling you, and we talked about this at length yesterday, right? You had that balance area, right? Then you had that balance area. So what happened here at the time? This thing did a failed balance breakdown of that guy, got through the high volume node, and of that guy. So what happened? It didn't go. So what should have happened is that. If that doesn't happen, you expect multiples the other way. So I was saying yesterday afternoon, because we were shorting this and the thing just would not die, made a little bit on it, but it just wouldn't die. And I said, they're going to probably do the sneak attack overnight like they always do. Here you go. But I did say, if this thing breaks this area, this thing is probably going to get absolutely waxed over the coming days just because of what should have happened didn't. Again, just a guess. But now if I get short, so I should have been this on all these shorts, I should have had double size on actually. I just got kind of sidetracked with all the technical difficulties and not be able to see. But the point is, if I get short setups, I should be trading bigger to the downside because of my thesis, right? You've got to go for it. You've got it. They call them A+ setups, not the A+ reversion. It's A+ setups. I learned this when I was training with SMB. When I got back in the business 2018, I was just going to trade stocks, and Dr. Brett Steenbarger, he got me set up with. He's the one who introduced me to Bookmap too. When I was out of the business, again, this is this fellow right here. So he wrote this book. He just came out with a new book too, by the way. I haven't read it yet, but I'm in this book because he sat behind me for 6 months watching me trade to see what made me elite at the time when I was making my millions of dollars, right? So back in the day. So anyway, I'm still in contact with him. I actually just met with him last week because I'm about to be put in a rubber room from getting ticked out all the time. So he had to talk me off the ledge. But anyway, he introduced me to Bookmap and he introduced me to SMB. I was going to trade stocks. Well, their main thing is they ground their traders if they don't trade bigger based on their thesis, based on their A+ setups, right? So meaning like I said in Nasdaq here, I'm still short. Those shorts I put on earlier because of my thesis, I should have had double sized short Barclick and Pick. And if you're at that firm and you don't put on double size, they ground you for a day and they put you on the simulator and you can't trade, right? So the point is, when everything aligns, you got to go for it because most trading days, and you look just like a chart, right? Building balance back and forth, make a little, lose a little, make a little, lose a little. And then you'll have a day, huge day, right? Let's do this down here so you can see better. Then you have one of those. Then it's back to this. Then you have one of those. You're only going to have, as a trader, most great traders, profitable traders only have, 10 big trading days in a year that make up most of their P&L. What you don't do is have this, and then one of these. You cut yourself off because there's certain days, especially in this environment where things are not making sense or you have great trades on and you get headlined out of it. You stop yourself. You say, today's just not my day. You never give it back like this. That's the second biggest fallacy mistakes traders make, right? Retail traders make. So I forgot why I got on that tangent and I can't breathe. So I'll answer some questions right now. Again, at least I can see. That's a positive thing. You got questions, throw them in the YouTube. Let me see if you got any in Discord here. Nothing in Discord. All right. If you got questions, throw them in YouTube or Discord. I don't usually see them in Discord, but all right. So what's in 10 seconds here? Oh, Fed clowns coming out. So that's probably going to save the day too. This is another thing, right? These guys talk nonstop. So you can see here.
Fed spokesman for supervision says regulators will vote
So you may want to be out of your trades. I mean, granted, who cares nowadays? Like the headlines are all over the place. Doesn't really matter. But he's probably going to say something that saves the day like they always do. Right? Right there. Fed bill. This is my time. Right. 2 hours behind Central. Another thing that does affect the markets you want to be cognizant of, you shouldn't be trading between 10:15 12:30 Central anyway, unless you like throwing away money. But you got the bond auction too, and that has been definitely affecting the market. So keep an eye on that. That's at noon Central. All right, so I'm going to put this reversion trade on with him talking. I mean, again, what's the difference nowadays? There's a headline every 5 minutes, so I'll put it on. Still short Nasdaq, a one guy. Two different strategies. See if it can blow through here, and then I'll put on this reversion trade that ever comes down here. And as far as trading off of this, that's another thing I wanted to look at here. Position trading wise, I have the reversion trade working, but position trading wise, a bark lick is on the table. I don't like taking bark lick. Bark lick again is just waiting for any event where you wait for the ATR retest confirm, as long as algo guy is in your direction. So algo guy is just an exponential moving average. I use this as my filter. This is definitely bearish, and you see how it keeps bouncing off the red. I don't take bark licks into the lug usually though, because they're so powerful, right? So I do have, what's good about this now is I have multiple layers of confluence for this reversion trade. I've got prior event, I've got the Ludwig level, and it's got to get through a GEX level to stop me out. So the more confluence you have on a trade, the higher the probability. So we're going to find out right now if that's the case. Filled on that. So this one I'm not going to, actually I'll pull this up. If this pops up here, I'm going to get out. Remember the last one I missed by like a 1.5. It would have been a winner, and then it was a little small loser. All right, stop for that's down here. That's what this red dash dotted line. So the dashed line is where I enter the 1 ATR. So it's just in front of an ATR. Why do I do that? Because these markets have a propensity to come right to the ATR and bounce away. So that's why I enter the 1 ATR right in front of it. So here's my stop for the 1 ATR. That's the dash dotted line. And here's my sizing for that, right? So I'm taking reversion 1.6. So 6 micros. This is based off the full contract. So I can put on 6 micros on this trade. 80.75 is the stop for this. I got it on this account too. Of course, it didn't fire off on this account.
Order filled.
So what I'm doing is I got a trade copier that I'm using. Can I please not get headline here, please? That copies. So I'm trading on Apex, and I'm trading on copying them live accounts as well, because I have all these accounts that are set up to all these different strategies. That's what these are, right? So, and then I took my 10 best ones and I copy them to these live accounts that I'm trading. So that's another thing too, guys. Like whether you're learning my stuff or somebody else's, I would not be risking your own money. So Apex is the one that I use currently. Use Pulcini 50 if you sign up. That's my affiliate code. That's your thank you for showing you the best edge in trading. But this is what you want, and they changed their website, so I can't even walk you through here now. But this is what you want to, until you get good at something. So you're only risking a fraction. Don't be risking your own money. And if you do well, you get funded by them anyway, right? So again, this looks completely different now. I haven't had a chance to go through it. I think they only do the one up to 150 now. Let's see. Can't find it. Yeah, they only go up to 150 now, which is, I think you're grandfathered in, so because I got the 200, a couple 200s, 150. So at least they changed this thing from the ridiculous scroll where I would try to explain it. It scrolls off the screen. Anyway, so most of mine are the 150s, right? See, Right now it's 80% off, like right now. So it's $39 to get like a $5,000 account, right? Meaning, oh, now they changed this too. This used to be 5, now it's 4. So the point is you need to make that before you lose that, right? So that's like having a $4,000 account for $40, right? If you blow out, you lose $40 and not 4,000. But you got to be cognizant of as you make money trading. If you get up to, say you get up to 89.50, well, great, you're not at 9,000 yet. If you pull back 4,000, you blow out of the accounts. It's a trailing stop, right? An intraday trail right there. So just be cognizant of that. But still, as you're learning this stuff, you guys, you don't know how great it is for you that you have this option. Like when I got knocked out of the game, when I finally had to leave trading in 2013, there was nothing like this. It was either you're at a trading firm or you had to trade your own money. Now you can get funded with these. Yeah, a lot of them have ridiculous rules, right? They're still biased against traders making money, but it's a way for you to get better. And then, and I guess they just changed something too. You can get a max 6 payouts, and then they close the PA, they call it the PA account, the live account. I don't know why they did that. They obviously have a reason. But the point is, if you get 6 payouts and you don't need Apex anymore, you get 6 payouts. We figured it out. Like if you got 20 accounts, if you did the max accounts, you get like $200,000. Open up your own account at that point. If you get 6 payouts, you're ready to trade your own money. You don't need to be trading with their rules or splitting money with them, right? But the point is, this is something that you want until you know what you're doing. Don't be risking $4,000 of your own money. Risk 40. And if you do well, then you're funded anyway. It's a no-brainer, in my opinion. All right, now these markets are just spinning in place. Again, what they're doing is they're just sitting here waiting for the next headline or waiting for the next hero rip, right? Hero's not doing much today based on the movement, like I said, but that was that rip. And remember, this could happen right now. It could take a couple hours, but if this stuff doesn't come off, this market is headed down here today, right? So let's see what this very likely, and that nothing's 100%, but and it could come off too. So that's almost 99. That's 97. That's 98. So the bigger they are, the more likely they're going to be magnets. So my point is, if you get a short on, this is a target, and if it comes down here, and I get a bullish event, I could take a sexy GEXy down here off these real-time GEX levels. And what's great about this is you can scroll it. This is 10 minutes behind, but you can see as it comes in, or they're just adding to this. So this is very, very likely this market's heading down. So this is 66.70 in SPX. There's about a 5-point difference between the futures and the SPX. So that's 66.75. So this is very likely going to come down to this area today. That's GEX8 on Method Q. So like if I get short here, that would be one of my main targets, right? In the meantime, how about we pop back to the zone like it always does when every trade I watch, every one that I miss works. I put it on and I got to get tortured. Obviously in my head a little bit, but not really. All right, so I'm still short Nasdaq and Russell. I got one contract left. What happened here in Russell? So I kind of got lucky here in Russell on that news story. I didn't put my stop in, I would have been stopped out. Right, so I still got that on. So yeah, something actually good happened to me, lucky wise. Guys, this is negative reinforcement too, by the way. So it's like, meaning what? Meaning, so say you don't trade with stops and you're like, oh, I would have stopped out, but I didn't. Awesome, I got this profit. Well, what are you gonna do next time? You're not gonna put a stop on it. The next time it's gonna keep going and you're gonna blow your account out, right? So the point is I should have the stop and I got lucky, but that's not a good thing, right? I should have been stopped out. I would have put it above this guy, but I still would have been stopped out. So anyway, if it comes back, I will stop out now. 2498.9. Again, this was the bark lick I put on earlier off this broken ice event. There was buy ice ATR retest confirm. I put that on, dealt with the torture, never got stopped out. Again, I trailed my stop to the most recent event. I just got lucky. I forgot to put it in. Again, you don't want to trade getting lucky. Follow your rules. 91. Let me put this in before I forget for the next headline that fires off and rips. Again, I'll put it above this stuff. GEX level, put it at 2501. All right, so this reversion might not work here. Again, I'm still short Nasdaq, but I would love for this thing just to pop back, fill me, and then die. So this is also telling you something, right? If you have all these areas that this should hold and come back to the zone, at least back to the zone. You got the prior event, you got the 1 day minimum, which is a very strong GEX level. You have the Ludwig level. Like if it blows through here, bigger picture, it is telling you this thing is going to get murdered, very, very likely. And we already saw those GEX levels down here, right? So if this can't hold here and at least give me my reversion, watch out below. And if we form new lugs, then I will put on the bar click and I'm putting on double size, right? If it does do the retest confirm, I'm going to put that on and watch this thing go to 0 today.
RTYS iceberg by RT 150 contracts.
All right.
Sell GC 171 contracts.
Rare event in gold lately. It's got some stops here. Very volatile. We got a 95 ATR. So we'll look to see what area this is in here for potential position trades. So this is getting interesting on gold too. What's setting up here? What do you see based on what we just talked about a little bit ago? That's a balance. I mean, you could even make it a bigger balance, but this is two-sided trade, correct? Look where we're at. We're right at the high volume node. This is the best trade in position trading, in my opinion. The failed balance breakout. All these longs that think they got it comes back, sweating here. As it moves through here, they're like, let me out, and then you get the whopper move. Or you should, right? If it doesn't, then you expect multiples back the other way. But I will take, let's see where this entry is. I'll take an FBB short here, and I'm going to take a double size. As long as my entry's through the high volume node. 5108.9. Yeah, it's still here. 51.8. It's right on it. So I wouldn't take this one as an FBB or double size because your entry would be literally like right there. Another event below there, I will take it though. So keep that in mind. All right, still short Nasdaq. See, if these do die, I'm short this, and I'll be watching that Ludwig level to get out. This guy, right around 42. I should have added to my pick. I just missed it off of this broken ice by ice event. Would have been in right there. This is already almost it's a 70-point trade and counting. All right, Reversion's giving me the finger. Tick extremes. So guys, this is the thing. You don't know tick extremes are going to come out, right? You just put the trade on. At least I'm short the two other Russell and Nasdaq, but I still sucks because I don't like losing any trade. Not stopped out yet, and I don't move my stop either, right? So when I entered this trade, my stop was here. I don't move it. I've done this too many times where it's like it starts to contract, the stop contracts. I'm like, oh, I could save myself a couple points. Then it'll come down and it'll tag that exactly. I would have never been stopped out of my original stop. So I just leave the stop where I have it once I put it in. This looks like it's heading right there. Again, very rare. This is telling you something that this did not. I'm not stopped out yet, but it's feeling like it, obviously. It's telling you something that has blown through these levels. So this is going to be probably the minimum down to those GEX levels that we just talked about. Very, 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 very likely. Where are they at here? Yep. So you can see here too how they see how it shows what it's been doing the last, if they've been adding, or I mean you can see it as this they disappear or whatever, but look, like 824,000, 25 million, 34 million, 36 million. So they're adding to it. Very likely, just like the liquidity that we saw with Nasdaq, right? How it came down to this. Same exact principle. They will get their fill. All right, so again, if this thing dies, at least I'm short Nasdaq and Russell. Hopefully it'll pop back, fill me on my reversion, and then it's free to die. If he dies, he dies. Movie. My room knows it. You guys don't know it. Why is this not? Sure. Tell me my movie, you get a discount to something. Or tell me the movie that's from. You gotta put it in the YouTube. Anybody? Nobody. Nobody's gonna guess. Nobody knows if he dies, he dies. What that's from. It's pathetic. It's from Rocky 3. I'm sorry, Rocky 4. Ivan Drago about Apollo Creed. Guys, you got to entertain yourself in this business. That's all I got to tell you. All right. Short Nasdaq, short Russell, long reversion ES. I don't have any. And the thing is, too, even if I was short ES, I would have been stopped out on this headline. Right? Because I would have trailed to that. That was the stop at the time. That was that ridiculous rip. And only ripped, what, 30 points straight? I'll take a headline right now, though, to fill me on my reversion. All right, let's see what else we got going in gold here. Stop run. Is this an Izzy? It is. So if this holds, and it should, if this market's going to remain bullish, I'll take an Izzy long. Here's my position sizing. I can put on a whopping one micro, risking my $400. Here's my entry, 5144.1. Caught a nice Izzy in here yesterday, at least partial. So I'll put that on. 51. Oh, you can't trade again. You can't trade that in Apex right now. That's the one thing that really bothers me. Because the market's volatile, you can't trade it. I mean, that's just ridiculous. It's like, that's what makes trading fun, is when it's volatile versus sitting here and doing nothing like we're watching these markets right now. So I got to put this on manually here. 5144.3. All right, that's working. Let's see if we got another area. Important area, I should say. This is a dada. So a dada is one of the trading strategies. Actually, you don't see them that often, but they're very high percentage. Dumb and dumber, aggressive and opposite delta trade. Trade is looking for a dumb and dumber stop run, which is, in this case, sell stops that reject an extreme standard deviation of VWAP with a cumulative volume CBD divergence, cumulative volume delta divergence, right? So you got a bunch of different things of confluence. One, you're at extreme standard deviation of VWAP. Here's VWAP. Here's one standard deviation, 1.5, 2, 2.5. Pretty much 3 standard deviations from VWAP where these algos come in and love to rip it back to the mean, aka VWAP. Then you have the stop run, which is usually the dumb money puke, which reverses anyway. Then you have a diverging delta. So you can see here, as this made a lower low, this is nowhere near, I mean, it's near, but it's for how much this has moved, meaning, and this is not red light, green light, do not get caught up in this and like, oh, that means there's more buyers. Buyers are taking offers more than they're hitting bids. It doesn't mean the market just turns around and reverses, right? The aggressor is the buyer, right? That's why this is not moving lower. But somebody's absorbing the buyer too. So it's not red light, green light, but it is giving you information, right? So the aggressor is definitely the buyer here. I got extreme standard deviation. So I got those algos that love to pop it back. And I got a dumb and dumber stop run, right? So I will take a dad trade here too. Same entry, 5144.4. Dad. 44.4. 98. All right, that's working too. So if this turns bullish, here's my entry for that. I can put on 1. This is my position trading sizing. My stop's down here. I can take reversions as well. So say this does pop up here. Tags put support. because I could take the 2 and the 1 reversion back to the zone, and I can do the same thing off GEX too. So I want to take the reversion trade. So different trades for the reversion trade is the best way to scalp, in my opinion, for all those that hate sitting in position trades. That's the best way. It's more instant and it's more defined, meaning like when I'm in position trades, I have to decide where I'm getting out of the trade, right? If I'm piecing out, if I'm getting out of the full thing. With the reversion trades, you know exactly where you get in, exactly where you get out, and you know how much you put on. So it's a better type of scalp trade, right? And you can see what's taking over here too is the price change game. We're getting this time of day, by the way. Every time this thing spikes, it goes the other way. Spikes, goes the other way. Here's one into the news story, right? So you can use this to help you scalp around your positions. So that's what I do, right? So say I had multiple. We already did it once here. I should have put this back on. I was a little shell-shocked with that news story. But watch this. This is what I do around my positions. So just say that news story didn't come out, right? I got short off of this, remember? Into an important area with a price change, I can pop out of one of them. And when a price changes back the other way, I can put it back on. Then it pops down, important area, take it back off. Price change back up, put it back on. So this is, in my opinion, the best way to capture our risk reward out there. Because how often do you get the 500-point move? Not very often. How often do you get this nonsense nonstop all day? So with the price change game, I don't trade this by itself. You could. I'm just too old to be watching every blip of the market. But when I have a position on, I'll trade it. Get out, get back in. Get out, get back in, right? So take advantage of this instead of letting it drive you up a wall. If you're in a position trade, play the game with them, aka the price change game. All right, now these markets are just going to sit here and torture me. Again, I'm short Nasdaq and Russell, but I'd much rather have this reversion trade work first and then watch the thing die. And again, guys, it's what we're into this time of day. Whatever the hero does, like this is when the big money starts going to lunch, right? So there's no more big money in here, and that's when it's go time for these jackasses to start manipulating, right? The 0 date to expiration game. So keep an eye on this. It'll start. Usually, it's like it's already starting, and the markets, of course, aren't responding. Most days, like if this thing's down right around this time of day, they rip it the other way. So we'll see. I would really appreciate that right now. I sure would appreciate it. It's from a movie too. I'm not even asking you guys that one if you guys didn't know. Rocky IV. Let's see some questions. Ailes on world. Please tell me what pair he is sawing. What does that mean? What pair I'm sawing? First of all, it would help if I knew what you're talking about. What pair? I'm not trading any pairs. I'm trading each one of these individually. This is ES. This is Nasdaq. You see up here. And what the hell does sawing mean? Never heard. I've been in the business 25 plus years. I've never heard that term in my life. What is happening in the red zone near 62s, 66.92, 62.90 for many orders? Where do you see that at? I don't see any red zone. This is liquidity. So guys, again, this looks like there's a ton of stuff on the chart. There is a ton of stuff on the chart, but it's not technical. All this are these larger orders here on the heat, just showing the orders on the heat map. You got some here, and then you have the algos that keep putting them in, pulling them, just like whipsawing traders. Then you have the GEX levels where dealers will be reacting. Doesn't mean they held all the time, but they do many, many times. That's why I have them on here. Then you have the iceberg events that are drawing on the subchart here. All right. Turn this price change game off. By the way, here's a price change. There's one here. Just brought back an hour in the price change mode. Algo City. Hopefully you can have it right back to the zone for me. And then you have the entry. Well, you have the ATR. So the blue line is the ATR away this way, the ATR away from this way. This is how I judge. Right now it's 10.5 points in the ES. So I judge whether the stop iceberg event is bullish or bearish. And then you have the entries for the position trades that are just outside of an ATR. So if I was going to go short, there's my entry and my stops on the other yellow line up here, which is just outside of an ATR. So again, I do that for a reason. because for position trades, because if I'm going to go short, I want to avoid this nonsense as much as possible and not get whipsawed out of the trade. So if I'm going to be wrong on a short, my stop's up here. It's got to come back to full ATR. I already talked about this. It's got to get through the volume event. Then it's got to push another ATR out. You could trade these however you want. It behooves you to listen to me since I've traded these for 8 years and probably 4 million of them. But if you want to trade them where you say, I don't need to wait for an ATR out, I'm jumping out right when it breaks the zone and my stop's on the other side. You can do whatever you want. I've tried it all. Trust me. That's why I have rules for what I'm doing, because I've gone through the trials and tribulations. If you think you know better, have at it. But like I said, it behooves you to listen to me because I've been trading these for so long. Not that I'm all knowing. I've gone through the ringer and I've tried every different method of trading these things. I do know this is the most important, powerful edge I've ever seen in my 25 years. Stop iceberg events. The red zone already moved. With the red zone, you're just looking at the liquidity in the order book and you're looking at algos playing games with traders, is what you're seeing, right? So the longer it's been in here, it's been sitting in here, like we saw here in Nasdaq. This is just a great example today, which it came in tag, like we talked about at the beginning of the webinar, right? That's longer term. This is just algos putting in and pulling orders, playing with traders' heads. That's what they're doing. All right, might pull off this reversion trade. Avoided the stop so far. Again, if this pops close this time, I'm getting out of some of these. I've already missed that one earlier.
White House press secretary Levitt says this action has not yet been finalized.
All right, Levitt's talking the White House too. So there should be some hero movement, would be my guess. Hey, look, we'll get a flow alert. That blows. Let me get out a couple of these here. That blows.
Order filled. Order filled.
All right, I'm going to get out of a couple of these because we're at a GEX level. And this is going to help get back to the zone because the minute I get out of some, it's coming right back to the zone. We got a flow alert, which usually means the market's going to turn around. All right, 3 out of 4 times. And you got this put support too. Let's see if we can pop through or I'll get out of the rest of these. But this is pretty close. This is exactly where I made the mistake last time, right? Not getting out. I'll get out of one more there. We'll just let these ride up here. See if we can get up there. So this was the reversion trade. Felt terrible. I got in there. My stop was down here. Where was it? It was down here at the time, right? Dashed dotted line. Withstood the stop. Back to the zone. It's not quite there yet, but there's a couple different things here. Like I said, you got 2 GEX levels and you got a flow alert. So I got out of most of them. I still have 2 on. It's definitely going to come back to the zone now because I got out because that's just how it works for me. And then meantime, position trading wise, I'm still short Nasdaq, just 1. I got most of them down here and I'm still short Russell, but this is exactly what I said. This is good enough. That's good enough.
Order filled. Order filled.
All right. Good enough. Got close enough. You got more GEX levels right here. You got a flow alert. So again, when you get a flow alert 3 out of 4 times, it usually means, by the way, did I not call this would happen at this time of day? Because they do it every single day. It's not rocket science. Every day they do this. Went from 0 to 1.57 billion. They're loading up the dealers. The dealers have to come in the futures, and then the market goes the other way. But again, you have a flow alert. We saw one earlier that worked, meaning the dealers were getting, or the market was moving higher, the hero was moving higher, and the market was moving higher. You get the flow alert, the hero turns over, the market turns over. 3 out of 4 times that happens. 1 out of 4, you get the flow alert, the hero will turn over, the market will do nothing, just spin in place because someone's absorbing. The dealers are still hedging, somebody's absorbing the dealers, but then when it turns back up, then the thing rips off the page. So that could happen here. Don't know. All I know is the reversion worked and I got out. See, this is why I don't want to try to squeeze out another couple points here. Look at that. Basically the tick. But I'm tickled it worked and I'm still short. So now I could go to 0 and I'll be clicking my heels. All right, we're at the time. If you guys got any other questions, throw them in. I'll answer them quickly. Is this still Bookmap? The one with the white, with the graph has purple and white lines. You're talking about this? This is Sierra chart. This is Sierra chart that I look at. So where I look at market profile composite. This is one of the areas that we got in earlier, Nasdaq short. Composites are just daily, the value area of the day. If there's multiples that overlap, I merge them. This is a whopper. So this being out of here is telling you something too, thesis-wise. If for some reason it recovers and gets back inside, then it's a different story. But right now, everything's looking very bearish for the rest of today, especially with those GEX levels if they stay below, right? Again, it's just a guess. I have no idea. Something can change in 2 seconds. The war can end, right? But pay attention to these. And if you don't have SpotGamma, just quickly, this is everything I use in my trading, right? Here's the courses, the SI indicator course. It's the core of my trading. Then what I do, the trading strategies are just looking for these events in my important areas, which are my trading strategies. The ATR reversion, which we just took in ES. That's the rules behind the ATR reversion, where the markets come back to these events with ridiculous regularity. Here's the zone drawing tool. This is a godsend. I used to draw these by hand, right? You can get this on the Bookmap Marketplace. Get the pro or the basic. The basic is just showing you the zone in the ATR. The pro gives you all the reversion lines, the position sizing, everything else. That's a subscription. That's in the marketplace. Just click on this stuff and I'll bring you in. Here's an example of how to use it on there. This is just stuff you get as part of my trade room now. You get the spreadsheet, which is the zone drawing tool. It used to be a spreadsheet. And then you get my inflection zones. That's all part of my trade room. Here's my trade room, right? So it's just the different options, monthly, quarterly, yearly. And then here's Bookmap. Click on these. This is a discount to the software. Click on that for that. And then you need the MBL bundle that shows you the stop iceberg information. And this gives you also MarketPulse. You have to have this though, guys. There's some stuff you got to pay for, there's some not. So the thing you shouldn't be paying for is charting. So I use Thinkorswim. It's a piece of crap, but it's free. So I use it, right? There's stuff you can cut corners on to save money. There's stuff you can't. You have to have Bookmap the MBO bundle if you want to have the best edge in trading, in my opinion. Here's Apex. We already talked about that. Use Pulcini 50 for any of the thing that they got 80% off right now. Here's Method Q. Those are the levels, GEX levels on my chart here on the heat map. You don't have to put them on Bookmap. You can put them on TradingView, Ninja Trader, Sierra chart. I prefer to have them on my chart so I can see them right in front of me. Here's SpotGamma. Use code Scott for 50% off your first month. This shows you all the real-time stuff, those GEX levels that we were talking about, right? This stuff, the hero, which is by far the biggest driver of the markets, as we're seeing right now, as it just ripped the market back to the zone. That's that. And then here's TickStrike. That's this. I've been using this for 15 years. I still use it. I still need it to hear when other stuff's going off, but MarketPulse is TickStrike on steroids. I don't use TraderSync. There's actually a guy in my trade room that just developed his own AI coaching journaling that you get for free as part of my room. You get to beta test it. It's going to be the next best thing. It's teaming up with SpotGamma. It's going to be awesome. Ludwig levels, we talked about that. If you want to try these out, do a free trial. Go to our 1972 website and put your name. Say you signed on the Bookmap webinar for special pricing, and you get special pricing as part of my trade room too. Here's my YouTube channel. I post occasional live trading stuff. Here's my email, Twitter, YouTube, podcast, and my backstory. And here's the reviews. So there you go. I posted that. I'll post this one more time in the YouTube channel. I do this every Thursday for Bookmap, and I do it every day for my trade room. So come on by and learn what I think is the best edge in trading. I will see you guys next Thursday. Thank you.